Greetings! My name is George and this is Peniel. I'm going to read some verses from Genesis chapter 32 and starting from verse 22. Jacob is on his way back to his own land and he's fearful that his brother Esau is going to kill him because Jacob cheated him out of the blessing. That night Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 maidservants, and his 11 sons, and crossed the ford of Jabbok. After he had sent them across the stream, he sent over all his possessions. So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." Still grasping, you see, Jacob's name means grasping. But Jacob replied, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he answered. Then the man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with men and have overcome." Jacob said, "Please tell me your name." But he replied, "Why do you ask my name?" Then he blessed him there. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, "It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared." The sun rose above him as he passed Peniel, and he was limping because of his hip. Therefore, to this day, the Israelites do not eat the tendon attached to the socket of the hip, because the socket of Jacob's hip was touched near the tendon. And as I say, Jacob was about to cross the river and he was alone, thinking Esau is going to attack and kill me. Suddenly a man attacks him. He must have been terrified and thinking, perhaps this is Esau, he's going to kill me now. But they wrestled all night. And the man who is God incarnate, when it comes to daybreak, said to Jacob, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." Jacob was still grasping. He'd been grasping all his life. He'd been grasping his brother's heel. He had grasped the blessing, and Jacob's still grasping. You know, Jacob was a cheat, but you know that he recognized the value of blessings, and that's why he grasped and grasped and grasped. He realized the value of something in a way that Esau didn't. And something about this man told Jacob, this is a special man. I should not let him go until he blesses me. There is something of tremendous value this man can give me, and I'm not going to let him go until I get the blessing. And the man asks him, "What is your name?" Now bear in mind, God incarnate, he already knows Jacob's name. He'd singled him out for this wrestling match. And I'm sure God knew that Jacob was going to ask for a blessing. So Jacob's still grasping the man. And the man says, "What is your name?" And that was a way of getting Jacob to say his name. And by saying it, I admit I am a grasper. I've lied and cheated all my life to get blessings because I recognize the value of it. But at the same time, I'm used of God. And this was a way of getting Jacob to face up to himself. Face up to the way he got there. And he says to Jacob, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, And Israel means God prevails. The grasper, who recognised the value of God's blessings, now wants more of a blessing from God, and God gives it to him. And your name shall no longer be Jacob but Israel, meaning God prevails. And Jacob then asks the man, what is your name? You've asked me my name. What is your name? And all the man says is, why do you ask my name? And he doesn't tell him his name, because Jacob effectively already knows who this is, I think. And Jacob then names the place Peniel, meaning I have seen God face to face and lived. So Jacob knew who it was. It was God he was wrestling with, and God put his hip out. And every time Jacob got out of bed or got up, he would feel the pain of his hip and remember, I wrestled with God and God prevailed, but he let me live. And to this day, as it says here, the Israelites don't eat the socket of the hip. So their meals would remind them of what happened to Jacob, how Jacob got the mighty blessing from God of being called Israel. God prevails. And I hope that we expect God to prevail in our lives. Amen.